A very good afternoon. Uh, a short while ago, we issued a press release expressing our very strong condemnation to the shooting incident in Washington, D.C., reportedly involving an Afghan national. Our thoughts and prayers are with the departed soldier, and we wish the injured a swift and complete recovery. We also extend heartfelt sympathies to the families affected, as well as to the government and the people of the United States. This targeted attack was undoubtedly an act of terrorism and a heinous assault on the US soil. For the past 2 decades, Pakistan has endured countless similar terrorist incidents with clear linkages from Afghanistan. This incident signifies the challenges posed by transnational terrorism and underscores the need for enhanced global cooperation to confront this menace. This incident heralds a troubling resurgence of terrorism on a global scale. The international community must take note and reinvigorate collective efforts in counterterrorism. Pakistan remains committed to working with the United States and wider international community to address the shared challenges of terrorism. On a similar note, late last night, we also expressed our views on killing of 3 Chinese nationals in Tajikistan. We expressed condolences and solidarity with the governments and the people of China and Tajikistan. Pakistan has consistently stressed that Afghan territory must not be used for terrorism against its neighbors or any other country. This repeated use of Afghan soil by terrorist elements and their continued presence under the patronage of Afghan Taliban regime is a matter of serious concern for the entire region and the wider international community. Concrete and verifiable action against the perpetrators, abettors, facilitators, and financiers of terrorist groups operating from Afghan soil is the only way to address this growing menace. Pakistan will continue to work closely with China, Tajikistan, and our other regional partners to promote peace, security, and stability in our shared neighborhood. Ladies and gentlemen, now rounding up to other important week's activities, we begin with the Prime Minister's important official visit to the Kingdom of Bahrain from 26th to 27th November. The Prime Minister met with the King of the Kingdom of Bahrain, His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, where he received the revered award of the Order of Bahrain First Class. The Prime Minister also met with the Crown Prince of Bahrain, His Royal Highness Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa. Prime Minister highlighted the potential to increase bilateral trade between the two countries to $550 million to $1 billion, supported by the Pakistan GCC free trade agreement, which, as you might know, is in an advanced stage of finalization, and also because of the recently eased visa requirements. For deeper economic cooperation between the two countries, the Prime Minister invited Bahraini investors to explore opportunities in food security, IT construction, mines, minerals, healthcare, renewable energy, and tourism. Upon conclusion of the discussion, the leaderships expressed confidence that they will translate our very good bilateral relations into tangible outcome, further elevating our relations across strategic, economic, security, and people-to-people domains. The two sides held detailed discussion on Pakistan-Bahrain historic ties, including a very pleasant legacy that Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, in his role as a lawyer, had represented Bahrain in one of the court cases. While accompanying the Prime Minister on his visit, Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Senator Mohammad Ishaq Dar met with the Minister of Finance and National Economy of Bahrain, His Excellency Sheikh Salman bin Khalifa Al Khalifa. They reaffirmed their commitment to further strengthen the ties with a special focus on economic cooperation, particularly in fintech and banking. They also discussed exploring central bank collaboration and established joint teams to develop roadmap for enhanced economic partnership. This visit underscored Pakistan's continued engagement with the kingdom, aimed at fostering result-oriented and strategic partnership between the two countries. Ladies and gentlemen, this week we received the Secretary of the Supreme National Security Council of the Islamic Republic of Iran, Dr. Ali Larijani. He was in Pakistan from 25th to 26th November. He held formal dialogue, delegation level talks with the National Security Advisor, Lieutenant General Muhammad Asim Malik. He called on the President, the Prime Minister, the Speaker, the Deputy Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister, and the Chief of the Army Staff. In these interactions, the two sides discussed a wide range of areas including political engagement, trade, economy, counterterrorism, border security, regional connectivity, and cultural and people-to-people contact. Both sides agreed to deepen ties in a manner that promotes mutual prosperity and contribute to regional peace and stability. The two sides held comprehensive exchanges on key regional and international developments, emphasizing importance of close coordination and peaceful settlement of disputes to advance shared objectives of stability and progress. Pakistan and Iran expressed a resolve to continue working together at regional and multilateral fora. The visit injected positive momentum in our relation, fostering greater cooperation and promoting mutual understanding. This week, the Indian Defence Minister made some provocative remarks on the Sindh province. We strongly condemn such remarks as delusional and dangerously revisionist, marking a clear violation of international law, the inviolability of recognized borders, and the sovereignty of states. Such provocative rhetoric cannot divert attention from the plight of Indian citizens, particularly vulnerable minority communities, suffering discrimination rooted in faith-based prejudice and historical distortions. India would also do well to address the persistent grievances of the people in its northeast, many of whom continue to face systemic marginalization, identity-based prosecution, and cycle of state-enabled violence. While Pakistan remained committed to peaceful resolution of disputes with India on the basis of justice, equity, and established international legal norms, we are firmly resolved to safeguard our security, national independence, and sovereignty. We also noted with grave concerns the finding by the United Nations experts on Indian illegal mayas in the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. These UN experts, as you would recall, had underscored the severe and systemic human rights violation endured by the Kashmiri people under Indian occupation. The UN experts have rightly raised alarm at extensive arbitrary arrest and detention of nearly 2,800 Kashmiri individuals, including journalists, students, and human rights advocates. This was the persistent application of draconian legislations such as PSA and UAPA had facilitated indefinite and unjustifiable detentions. Kashmiris under Indian illegal occupation are suffering from torture, custodial death, incommunicado detention, and denial of due legal process, as well as denial of family contacts, punitive demolition and forced eviction of homes, recurring communication blackouts, and suppression of press freedom, including the blocking of 8,000 social media accounts, as well as the accompanying rise in hate speech. These findings reaffirms Pakistan's long-standing concerns regarding state-sponsored persecution of Kashmiri Muslims, as well as discrimination against minorities. Across India, lynching and harassment directed at Kashmiris and Muslim communities are equally deplorable and deeply troubling. Pakistan calls upon India to cease its coercive measures and to unconditionally release all those arbitrarily detained or arrested in Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. We further urge India to take concrete steps to end the prosecution of all religious minorities, particularly Muslims, Christians, and others. Pakistan reiterates its commitment to peaceful and just and enduring resolution of the Jammu and Kashmir dispute in accordance with the UN resolutions and the aspirations of the Kashmiri people. We will continue to extend our moral, political, and diplomatic support to the Kashmiri people in their just struggle against foreign occupation and for the right to self-determination. Ladies and gentlemen, we also have noted with deep concern the flag hoisting at the so-called Ram Temple, constructed on the site of the historic Babri Mosque in Ayodhya. With centuries, the Babri Mosque, a centuries old place of worship, was demolished on 6 December 1992 by extremist mobs inspired by fascist ideologies. The subsequent judicial process in India, which acquitted those responsible and permitted construction of a temple on the demolished mosque site, speak volume about the Indian state's discriminatory approach towards minorities. Pakistan calls on the international community to take cognizance of the rising Islamophobia, hate speech, and hate-motivated attacks in India. The United Nations and other international bodies must play a constructive role in safeguarding Islamic heritage and ensuring protection of the religious and cultural sites of all minorities. Ladies and gentlemen, this week we also witnessed attacks by Israeli forces in Gaza. We condemn these attacks in the strongest terms, which have resulted in death of several Palestinian civilians, including women and children, and have left many more wounded. Such actions constitute blatant violation of international law, relevant UN resolutions, and the recently concluded peace agreement at Sharm el-Sheikh. These attacks also undermine international efforts aimed at achieving peace and stability in the region. Pakistan remains firm in its principal position in favor of the establishment of an independent, sovereign, viable, contiguous state of Palestine based on pre-June 1967 border with Al-Quds al-Sharif as its capital. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, Pakistan has been re-elected to the Executive Council of the Organization of the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, OPCW, for the term 26-28. Election of this body were held at the OPCW in The Hague, Netherlands this week. Being an active member of the OPCW, Pakistan has previously served on the Executive Council since ratification of the Chemical Weapons Convention in 1997. We have contributed constructively towards the fulfillment of the objectives of the Chemical Weapons Convention and regularly host OPCW routine inspection at our relevant facilities. The re-election of Pakistan to the Executive Council is a testament to Pakistan's positive role within the organization and the confidence of the member states in our ability to provide effective leadership and impetus to the work of the OPCW. Thank you very much, and I now open the floor for questions.